This podcast is part of the Shareable Podcast Network. Learn more at shareable.fm. This is a Shareable mini episode where I ask the guest 10 important, big questions, and they have to answer them as fast as they possibly can. I call it Think Fast. Welcome back to Think Fast. My name is Jeff Gibbard. I'm your host. This is a Shareable segment where I ask 10 rapid-fire questions to my guest, and I ask them to answer it as quickly as they can, though you can think about the answer and take your time in answering it. But I want you to answer the question like I want like rapid fire coming out of your brain. So it's about thinking fast, not necessarily talking fast. So I don't want you to like ponder your answer if at all possible, like really try to get to it. So I have Jonathan Grzybowski here with me, and I'm going to ask him 10 questions. Are you ready, Jonathan?
Hell yeah, let's go.
All right, word. What is one book that everyone listening should read next?
Never Get a Real Job by Scott Gerber.
Awesome. What is your favorite podcast? You can't say Shareable.
Reed Hoffman's
Masters of Scale.
Masters of Scale.
Yeah, that's fire. It's really good. What negative experience in your life are you most happy happened to you?
I would say pretty recently. It was a breakup. Do you want me to expand on that? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think it's an answer I've heard before, but I'm curious in your case, why?
Sometimes when you lose something that you thought was really good, and you end up finding, not necessarily even finding something better, but you end up finding more about how resilient you are as a human being. And I really loved the process of who I became as a man because of that. And I just think everything elevated from that particular experience. And I'm incredibly grateful for that. And I wish the other party all the best.
Yeah, man. That resonates with me. I was divorced and I'm married again. And I always say if I could go back and do it over 1,000,000 times, I would do the exact same thing. I would marry my first wife. I would divorce my first wife, and I would marry my second wife like
Hell yeah.
1,000,000,000,000 times. So I hear that, man. I totally do. Okay. What is a lesson that you wish that you had learned earlier in life?
Well, I would say two things. Fight for what I believe in, or fight for what is right. And have more patience. Fighting, because my parents were very don't get into a fight type of family, and then I would forget to protect myself, whether that's from like a fist fight or even just like a verbal fight, be that submissive person, because that's who they were. And I think the patience aspects of it would be just like keep grinding, doing your thing, and the reward will happen. And instant gratification is always good. So
right on. Okay. What is the most important skill of the future?
Oh man, skill of the future. I feel like this is probably the one question that wraps everybody up. I mean, I just think a shareable economy, I think, is probably the skill that we need to adapt. More accepting of other people's cultures and other people's living situations and beliefs. I think that's probably the number one skill, is like understanding other people. I would love to have a shareable economy where we're just vibing off each other for resources, and not necessarily want to get the political aspect of like socialist and all that other stuff. I just think that there's like benefits to saying, hey, you have cool stuff, come bring it over here, and vice versa.
Okay. I dig it. We could have a whole conversation on that, man.
Yeah.
Okay. What industry or career path do you think has the most promising future or potential?
Some form of artificial intelligence, but I feel like that's such a cop out of an answer.
I wouldn't say it's a cop out. You can go deeper onto it, or you can change your answer, but
yeah, I'm probably going to change it. That was the first thing that popped in my head when I was thinking fast, but I would say cooking. Because I think we're absolutely disgusting as a society when it comes to food, and we don't understand how to respect it. And I think chefs is a skill set that I think, and cooking is a skill set and a job that just needs to be more glorified.
I love it, man. So my early journey was I was a personal chef in my early 20s. It didn't go very far. I didn't know how to start a business, but I've been cooking since I was 7 years old, and that is my place of meditation. When I go to the kitchen, it's like where I can just go and just go and do my thing.
Very similar feelings for me as well.
Right on, man. Okay, so this one is there's a very important clarifying point to this, but what is one thing that everybody listening to this episode right now should go and do today? It is something they either have to be able to complete today, or at the very least they can start it today. So it has to be like an immediate action. What should they go do today?
Go for a walk. Because you're listening to this hopefully on your mobile device. I think me in particular, I look at a computer screen for about 17 hours a day. I start my day at around 9-10 ish. I look at a computer screen till about 6, and then I eat dinner and I go back to work and I look at a computer screen again, from probably around 8-9 o'clock to about 12. And I've done that for literally 10 years of my life, every single day, including weekends for the most part. So my thing is go for a walk, because it just clears your head, gets you away from things, you're able to enjoy life.
Love it. If you could have any one superpower, what would it be?
Yeah.
Clarifying point, by the way, you can also choose an individual superhero or supervillain's power set, but you can also just choose a single superpower.
Yeah, I know you have the Iron Man shirt on right now, which I did see. I've always been a big Nightcrawler person. I think that could be like, thinking fast. I think like Nightcrawler's ability to just teleport would be really awesome. Because sometimes like I hate traveling, and I'd want to be able to like move as quickly as possible. So I'd probably do that. Like I'm in Philly now, and I have to take like, usually I live in Jersey, so I'll do like Patco or something like that. Or if and I will be moving back to Philly shortly, I'll have to take the L in order to get from downtown to whatever. And I just want to be able to, snap and just go. So I'd say like Nightcrawler for right now.
Okay. I think Nightcrawler is actually a short distance teleportation. I think he has to at least see where he's going.
Yeah, and that's fine. I can do that 100 times and still be able to get there faster than what I would be through like Patco or the L. So I'm still cool with that.
That's fair. Okay. If there was a drug that you could take or a vaccine that you could take that gave you an 80% chance of developing a superpower, like the Nightcrawler power, and a 20% chance of developing an incurable terminal disease, would you take it?
Yeah, I like my odds. I like my chances.
I love it. I've been toying with the percentages on that to see if I can get more people to say yes, because I get a lot of people that say no. So I've tinkered with those percentages here and there. Okay, final question.
I think it's a good question. I think it's a good percentage, because I live my life on the like, whatever I'm about to do, is it worth the risk?
Yeah.
And if the answer is yes, if it's more than like 10%, I'm gonna do it.
Awesome. All right, final question. You've seen Avengers Endgame, right?
I have a funny story, but I know this is think fast, but yes.
Okay, cool. Well, tell me a funny story real quick.
I rewatched all of them from beginning to end in based off a timeline order.
Nice.
And it was really awesome. I've watched all of them like several times, but I did it from beginning to end. Captain Marvel first, or right? I think Captain America's first, then Captain Marvel, and then all the way to Endgame. Hopefully I'm watching Endgame tonight again to close it out. But it was an amazing journey to go, like doing it all, like knowing all the issue, like the situations and the outcomes, and doing all over again, and not watching the previews. The previews are actually more of the hype than you may think. And a lot of the things that I thought happened didn't happen the way that I did happen when I rewatched it again. So highly recommend doing it to anybody that's a Marvel person like you are, and I know, and comic book fan, and I am. So
well, my daughter's she just turned 1. I'm gonna wait until she's old enough to sit through a full movie, and then we are doing the whole thing. All right, so here's the final question.
So like 2,
yeah,
right?
Something like that, like real early. She watches Spider-Man cartoons with me now and again, which is awesome.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so here's the question. Good, you're totally familiar. You're ready for this. Okay, I've got the Infinity Gauntlet. I offer it to you. You can put it on. As you know, as a mere mortal who hasn't taken the vaccine and gotten your superpowers, it is likely that snapping your fingers would result in you losing your life. But as you very well know, you can have anything happen because you were empowered with the Infinity Gauntlet and all 6 stones. Question is, if I give you the gauntlet, I already know the answer to this, but I give you the gauntlet. 1, do you snap? And 2, if you do, what happens after you snap?
Yeah, I would definitely snap. I would say I would just want bad people to go away. Um, like I just and maybe that's just like morbid, I don't know, but I just bad people would just leave. I don't have time for that. There's like so much disgustingness happening in just not only our country, but just in society as a whole. And I think that if you have like a hateful person, if you're a hateful individual, I would probably wish you to politely go to the afterworld and not talk to me again.
Nice. All right. Fair. Well, this has been Think Fast. You've been my guest. You did think very fast. And I appreciate the fact that you have a deep knowledge of superhero movies, because a lot of my questions touch on that. So
Yeah.
thanks for being a good sport about the whole thing. And for our listeners, thank you for tuning in. This has been another episode of Think Fast on your favorite podcast, Shareable. Wait, don't leave. If you've never listened to my fancy outro, do it just once for me, please. Okay, if you enjoy Shareable and you find it valuable, there's a few ways that you can support the show. One, you can share it on social media, which I strongly encourage. I mean, it's literally the name of the show, Shareable. Two, you can review it on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you're an Overcast user, as many of my listeners are, make sure to click that star button on the episodes that you like. The third way that you could support the show is by blogging about it or discussing it on your own podcast, or even by making a YouTube video where you talk about one of the episodes. And then the final way that you can support the show is by supporting it directly on Patreon. You can find the link in the show notes. Now, before I let you go, I want to tell you about one other thing. You see, Shareable is just one of many projects that I'm working on at any given time. I've got another podcast called Rogue. I do a live streaming show every week called The Heroic Council. I've got a blog where I release a blog post twice a week. And if you're looking to keep up with all sorts of different content that can help you grow and become a superhero in life, I want you to check out jeffgibbard.me. That's where I list all of my current projects and projects that are coming up in the future, including my forthcoming book, The Lovable Leader. It would mean a lot to me if you could go and check out some of the other things I've worked on, because I put just as much of my heart into those projects as I do into Shareable. Thank you so much for being a listener. Thank you for being a supporter, and I hope to see you here on the next episode of Shareable.